Hello Twin Flame friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. Right, so I'm not actually doing a pick a par reading today, even though it looks like that. I'm going to do a collective reading for the Divine Feminine to help us acknowledge what blockages we aren't realizing. You know, what do we do? What do we need to heal? What triggers aren't we seeing? What do we need to do to move forward? So I've just got these decks out because these are the ones I'm going to use. But before I begin, yesterday in my reading for Par 1, I spoke about Lemurian crystals. This is a Lemurian here. And I felt really guided when I was reading for that pile. Sorry, I'm just kind of blown away by the rainbows that are appearing in this crystal because the sunlight coming towards me. It's just a magical moment. Wow, life is so incredible, it really is. So I was talking about these crystals and I said I would do a raffle for a Lemurian crystal, give you guys a chance to win one. So I've been through my collection and what I've actually found is some twin Lemurian crystals. Not all of them are Lemurians, this one isn't. So first I want to show you what a twin crystal is. I'm going to come closer so that you can see. So this here, as you can see, has 2 points. So this is what's known as a twin quartz. And I have quite a few like this. But as we were talking about Lemurian crystals, this is what we see here. So this one is not just a Lemurian, as you can see, it's a twin quartz, it's got 2 points, and you can tell it's Lemurian by the lines. You see those lines? And as I said when I spoke about this in the video yesterday, these refer to the Akashic records. Now, the lines on this one don't actually make such a great sound because it's so small, but I can feel them when I run my nail up it. So it's quite hard to find real Lemurians. They're quite rare. I'm going to show you all 3. So these are all twin Lemurian crystals. See the lines on the side? This is a particularly beautiful twin quartz. And if you can see really close, it's actually got a little baby one growing through it there as well. Right here, if you just look here. And then we also have this one, again, twin quartz with the Akashic lines, which identify it as a Lemurian. So they're also known as blades of light when they're this clear. They're from Brazil. Lemurian crystals are always from Brazil, although people are beginning to find them in other areas. And in case you didn't catch my video yesterday about this, legend has it that the Lemurians were an ancient lost civilization that existed around the same time as the Atlanteans. And when the planet shifted from 5D back to 3D, they all died out, but they left these crystals charged. This is my one that I was showing yesterday. They left these crystals charged with data and records. Now, when you think about it from a scientific perspective, quartz is used in virtually every major technological component that you can imagine. It's in your phone, it's in your laptop. If you've got an LCD screen in your home, that's liquid crystal display. And it's also used in memory chips because quartz holds data. So when I learned about the modern uses of quartz, it was quite incredible understanding how it's used. It's called memory quartz. Type in memory quartz and data on Google and you will find a lot of information about how quartz is used, and it's to hold data. So this kind of legend that the Lemurians loaded these crystals with data and records and memories and things for us to access is quite believable when you consider how we use quartz in modern times. Now, when these were first found, they were not in clusters like normal quartz crystal is found. They were split off from the main part and they were laid out in rows like this in a beds of sand with another layer of sand and then another layer of crystals, and so on and so on and so on. You know, like they had been intentionally put there. So I really, really resonate with these crystals. I have a lot of Lemurians. These are all Lemurians in here, in fact. This is the main one I work with. It's the biggest one I own. They are more expensive than traditional quartz, but not everyone is aware of what a Lemurian is. So sometimes if you're really, really lucky, when you're digging through quartz points in some stores, you may stumble upon one which is priced at a normal quartz price. You can always tell because of the Akashic lines which appear on the sides of them. As I said yesterday with this one, I'm going to move it close to my mic. When I run my fingers up it, you can hear that, yeah? It actually makes a noise because the lines are so pronounced. On the smaller crystals, they're slightly less pronounced, of course, because they're smaller, but you can still feel them as you run your finger up them. So this one, as an example, cost me £85, so that's about $120. A normal crystal point of that size would probably cost you $10 to $15, so they are, you know, a good deal more expensive. So this means there are a lot of charlatans selling what they do, you know, term as Lemurian when they're actually not. So buying it online can be a bit risky. So if you're looking online for one of these, you want to make sure there's lots of close-up pictures that you can really get a feel for the markings on them. I might do another video about the markings you can find on quartz because it's really quite fascinating. But these Akashic lines do indicate you've got Lemurian, and the lines will appear on all sides. Yeah, so they won't just be on one. They might be more pronounced on some sides than others, but you will see the lines appear on every facet. So it is quite hard to find them online. You can get pink Lemurians, yellow ones, all different colours, but they're all quartz and they all have these lines. And they're usually always Brazilian. And you can tell a Brazilian quartz, I mean, this is a Himalayan quartz, clear quartz. You can tell Brazilian quartz are very, very clear. You know, they are beautifully clear compared to the Himalayan counterparts and quartz from other parts of the world. So I said I would do a raffle, and I'm going to include the twin quartz, and I'm going to do the raffle for all the twin Lemurians as well. So there's 4 crystals here to be given away. All you have to do to enter is donate a sum of at least $1.11 to my channel. There's a link down below in the article description box that tells you how to do that, but it's www.paypal.me/happytwins. Please don't send it to my other PayPal address, which is the one I use for booking payments, because it will be very difficult for me to track the donations through that PayPal account. So it has to go through my Happy Twins one. That's www.paypal.me/happytwins. So send a donation of any sum of at least $1.11 between now and I'm trying to think what date we'll run this to. I'll run it till the 16th, which is when I'll be doing the full moon guided meditation, and then I can announce the winner on that video. I'll pick the winner live. So you've got a good 10 days or so, just shy of 10 days to enter. And as I said, any donation amount of at least $1.11 and your name will go in the pot. And I will pick out 4 people that will each receive one of these beautiful crystals. This one isn't Lemurian. This is just a twin quartz, but it's still very beautiful crystal. I will Reiki charge all of these and bless them before I send them. And that will, you know, include postage and everything. So if you would like to win one, go ahead and make a donation to the channel. It does help keep everything going. And it will be my pleasure to pick 4 lucky winners to receive these beautiful crystals. So that's that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I thought that was a really lovely idea, and I'm excited to send these out to their new homes. Okay, so we're going to do a reading today, as I said, about how to identify, to identify the blockages. And this is a collective reading for the Divine Feminine, so it's not going to apply to everybody. You know, take what works, take what don't. There may be a message for you in there somewhere. So if it doesn't all resonate, you know, it might just be that there's one specific thing in this reading that you needed to hear and know. Do comment down below and let me know what you think, because I love to hear your guys' feedback. It's so uplifting. reading your comments is one of my absolute favourite things. It's such a pleasure to serve this community, and when I get that beautiful feedback telling me how much it's helped, and you know, it just lights me up. It's really wonderful. Do like, share and subscribe as well. And if you do subscribe, I noticed that YouTube doesn't always send me notifications to the channels I subscribe to. They don't always appear in my subscriptions list, so now I make sure I click the little bell sign next to that subscription button. So do go ahead and do that if you haven't done already, to make sure you do get a proper notification of when I've uploaded a new video. I don't normally work on a Saturday, but I felt really, really guided to do this reading today. I've had a magical week. It really does feel like everything's coming together. The mediumship class is full for the EST time zone. There are some spaces in the European time zone class, which will be at 6 p.m. GMT +1, also beginning on Thursday, the 20th of June. So if you haven't yet signed up, there are still some places on the European time zone class. We've already got the student group live, and we're already chatting with one another in there. It's just such a positive, uplifting energy. I'm so excited to start teaching you guys. This is really part of my higher mission. It's not just to do readings, it's to teach SRT, it's to teach you guys how to maintain your well-being, sovereignty, connect with your guides, and to clear self and others. And there's no competition as far as I'm concerned with this work. There aren't enough spirit release therapists in this world. There are many people struggling with their mental well-being. There are many people that exist with self-love deficit. And there are nowhere near enough people to help them. So, you know, it really is my mission to train as many of you as possible. And I've set the course price fairly low so that it's accessible to everybody. I can accept a payment plan. I will be announcing dates for other courses, which will begin at the end of July when these two are finished. And if you're interested in that, and you want to set up a payment plan or something, just drop me an email and I can kind of work something out with you, because I know for some of you paying a lump sum, and it's $111, but that's not feasible for everybody. But I want to make sure it is accessible to everybody. I actually do more free work than I do paid work. So, those of you that do pay, that goes towards subsidising the people that are really in need. I don't necessarily do a lot of free work for the channel apart from on my live streams. It's actually for local people, mainly children. So a lot of my meditation teaching for children. I work with a young people's homeless charity, offering meditation and mindfulness classes and one-on-one sessions. So, every time you guys buy a reading from me, or a twin flame connection check, or some spirit release therapy, that money goes a long way to subsidising the people who need it most, primarily children. So thank you so much. It really helps to keep everything moving so that I can continue shining my light while still paying my bills, which is sadly a 3D reality we all must contend with. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. Whew, let's do this. Right. I'm going to keep that as a significator as it just fell out. That's the Ace of Swords right there. So the question today is, what are you not acknowledging about yourself? What's actually blocking your connection and your spiritual progress? I'm going to pull lots and lots of cards. I don't know how long this reading will be. I'm just going to work intuitively. And a few of you have asked where Arthur is. Arthur is still with me. It's quite interesting actually watching through my old videos and seeing my development and progression as far as working with my guides goes, because when I first started channeling Arthur, as those of you who have been with me quite a while will know, I used to pause, ask him a question, listen to him. I don't need to do that anymore. He's with me all the time. If I stop now and say, Arthur, tell me X, Y, Z, he'll just say, keep talking. And it's called inspired thought. It's kind of midway between trance mediumship and traditional mediumship, in that, really, Arthur is kind of speaking through me. He's not speaking through me literally. That would be trance mediumship. But he's inspiring my thoughts so that I can speak his truth and his knowing. And this is why I don't remember a lot of readings. If you've had a reading with me, or a twin flame connection check, SRT or anything like that, my colleagues can vouch for this. I don't remember anything. It's like a dream state. Yeah? I don't remember it. And it's because it's not really coming from me and it's not for me, so it doesn't stick with me. So it is a bit of a ball ache sometimes if you've had a private reading and you'll come back a month later and say, oh my God, remember that reading you gave me? And I'll be like, no, I'm really sorry, I don't remember. I remember you and I remember your energy, but I can't remember your reading. So it really isn't coming from me. You know, the guides really are the stars of this show. So thank you, Arthur. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get this reading on the road. Keep waffling. Right, so what aren't you acknowledging about yourself? What aren't you acknowledging about your twin? What aren't you acknowledging about your journey? So in this first row, this is what you're not acknowledging about yourself. You know, with this Eight of Swords reversed, let's look at the Eight of Swords upright first, because you can see here there's this lady and she's kind of bound by rope, she's surrounded by swords and she's wearing a blindfold. But even though she looks trapped, if you look really carefully, of course, she isn't. You know, her hands are fairly free. She could take her blindfold off, she could loosen the binds. You know, she's not really trapped. And this card is reversed. So, you know, this really communicates to me that even though you feel stuck and you feel like you can't release yourself from this, that actually it's all an illusion, it's all in your mind. You can release yourself at any moment by just allowing, you know. So this card is about resistance. And it's usually about, you know, self-limitations. Oh, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. This doesn't work for me. It's impossible. I just can't do it. And whatever you're telling yourself that, you know, whatever it pertains to for you, and it's obviously to do with your twin flame journey, and my gut feeling it's to do with healing and self-love. You know, you kind of doubting your own ability to release yourself from the pain and suffering you're feeling. You're still looking outside of yourself for answers, guidance, healing, support, which, you know, is all very well, but once you've connected with your own higher power, you won't rely on that so much. You'll have access to this feeling of incredible inner peace and knowing. So for me, this card, in terms of what you're acknowledging about yourself, it's you're not acknowledging your own power. You're limiting yourself by resisting the flow of that power. You're limiting yourself by not acknowledging, you know, your own divinity and ability. And that's stopping you from doing the work. With this Seven of Pentacles here that's come up, you know, you have access to all this abundance and success, but your own self-limiting beliefs are holding you back from doing that. And with the Six of Cups reversed, I'm really guided to say you don't remember who you are. You don't remember the truth of who you are. You've not connected with it. And, you know, the significator that flew out at the beginning, this Ace of Swords, this is about truth. This is the card of truth for me. You know, this is about integrating truth and that, you know, really stepping into truth. So, you know, you're not remembering who you really are, which is this incredibly powerful, divine, light being that is here to heal and help others. And you're probably thinking, well, I can't even heal and help myself. How am I going to heal and help others? But you certainly can. Stop telling yourself that you can't. You absolutely can. And whilst that may feel really challenging and hard right now, you have to trust that you will make dramatic progress once you allow and release the resistance and self-limiting beliefs that you're holding. And I described it to a client recently as being like if you imagine your progress on this journey as being like a wheel that you're stood within, almost like a hamster's wheel. And when you're in this self-limiting mindset, you're cycling backwards, or you're cycling and you're not really making progress. Now, to reverse the cycle and go forward, that initial push, because you've got so much momentum going, it takes a great deal of strength to push back in the other direction and reverse the cycle. But once it has reversed, the momentum builds and the flow is easy again. So, if you're feeling stuck right now and it seems really challenging, trust that once you break the back of that, once you reverse the momentum of that cycle, it all flows very easily again, and it will feel just as easy as it does now feel hard. It's a lovely feeling. Is that once you actually make that shift, you create that shift in yourself, everything flows lovely in the right direction. But it's just about letting go of self-limiting beliefs, and it is hard. It's hard to reverse that momentum, but you can do it. Now, the other card that's come up here about what aren't you acknowledging about self is this Five of Swords reversed. And for me, this is about inner conflict. Being positive doesn't mean ignoring what is negative. You have to be really honest and develop some self-awareness to, take a long, hard look at self and, determine what is actually holding you back. And being in conflict with self is really, for me, what's really jumping out is this idea of bullying self. It's about getting control of that voice in your head. If you look in the mirror and have really unpleasant thoughts about what you're seeing, that's bullying self. That's being in conflict with self. If you make a mistake and you really beat yourself up for it and dwell on, your error, that's beating yourself up, it's bullying yourself. So you're really being called here to acknowledge this inner conflict, this voice that is so hard on you. And you wouldn't speak to any other human being that way. Well, I would hope you wouldn't. But, if it's like when we look in the mirror and we think, oh my God, I look so rough today. I look shit. I look tired. I look old. I look fat. All of those horrible things that we can say to ourselves. You would never say that to your best friend or your sister, or a small child. You wouldn't speak to anyone else like that, but it's a behaviour that you allow in yourself, and you need to become aware of that inner voice, that inner conflict. You need to remember who you are, that you're a beautiful, divine light being with a higher mission to heal self, to love self, to heal others and teach others to love self. Yeah? And this is what brings you into union with self and with twin. So we've also got the moon in reverse, which is this feeling of just not. It's a feeling of uncertainty. It's a feeling of being afraid of steps in the dark, and I want to reassure you that even though, you might be making a journey that's not always clear, there's no script, you don't always know what's going to happen, and that can sometimes be frightening, especially if you're an air or earth sign that's very practical and likes to plan every step. That this journey doesn't give you access to that level of control. So if you're feeling uncertain and a lot of doubt, lacking faith in your own ability, lacking faith in the journey, confused and concerned about how to move forward, and your inability to see clearly about how, that forward progress is going to look, you just need to remind yourself that it's okay. You will know on an as-need-to-know basis. That's how spirit works. They don't need to reveal the full picture to you, because that would take your focus off the present, which is where all the learning and the lessons are that help you move forward. So again, if you've been in this energy of fear of the unknown, fear of what's coming, fear of not knowing the plan, fear of not knowing the journey, fear of not knowing what to do next, just trust that everything unfolds in perfect timing, and that right now you're exactly where you're meant to be. Even if it doesn't feel good, this, every part of your journey serves you, the good and the bad. No one has a 100% perfect life. So don't lull yourself into this false sense of believing that, some people are really blessed and lucky and just have this perfect life that is, free of pain, suffering and worry and all those other things. That's not real life. You know, real life has its ups and downs. It has pain and suffering. It has grief and loss. But all of these negative experiences, as well as the good ones, serve us. We learn from them. You know, we learn more from our mistakes than we do from our achievements. Every great entrepreneur, leader, or powerful person will tell you that, you know, I didn't succeed once. I failed 50 times to be able to succeed once. Even science teaches us we learn by trial and error. So making mistakes and going through the darker periods in our life really does serve us, and you mustn't fear these. As you begin to heal self, and you begin to understand how to respond to healing triggers, how to respond to pain and suffering, and to transmute those negative feelings into positive ones to release the lessons contained within them, you will actually welcome and feel gratitude for the hardships that you face, because you understand how they are part of your soul's evolution and your soul's growth. It becomes empowering rather than challenging. So, you know, in terms of what you're not acknowledging about self, these are all the blockages right now in your journey. You know, self-limiting beliefs, which is, you know, stopping you from getting your hands dirty and doing the actual work, because you've got this idea that you can't really do this, that you need someone else to heal you, you need someone else to guide you, you need someone else to figure it out. But you know, deep down you know better than anybody. And there is no healer in this world that can heal you better than you can heal yourself. And that's that's a beautiful and empowering statement, you know, that you are the master healer, that you can heal your soul way more powerfully than anybody else can. And, you know, not to forget who you are, to stop being in conflict with self, and to trust the journey even when it doesn't appear clear to you. In terms of what you're not acknowledging about your twin, and this won't resonate for all of you, but for some of you, you haven't really surrendered to this experience in spirit. You know, we've got the Hangman here, and we've got the Ace of Wands reversed. We've got the Ten of Swords, which is about pain and suffering. You've not completed that healing, and you've not really, truly made that decision with conviction to step into your own power with this Queen of Wands energy. And sometimes, because we're so desperate to come towards union, we tell ourselves, you know, I'm surrendered and accepting, I'm in that stage now and I'm ready, and union's going to come to me soon. So you've got to be really, really honest with yourself, because if you're feeling a lot of pain and, you know, a lot of suffering, and you're not working with spirit, you're not doing that healing work on self, you're not in surrender, you've not moved to that stage of the journey, which is releasing the need to chase, releasing that longing feeling you have to even have communication or contact with your twin. Surrender and acceptance means to accept and surrender to what is, whatever it looks like. Yeah, it's accepting the karma, the lessons, the pain, the suffering. It's inviting it, welcoming it, accepting it lovingly, and being able to move forward. And that's what being in your power means. So you will still be triggered, but by the time you've moved into surrender and acceptance, you will feel very differently about the triggers, because A, you will know how to transmute them and purge and heal, but B, you will, you know, welcome and invite them, because you understand that it's helping you make progress. So, you know, as far as your journey with your twin is concerned, for some of you watching this, you're very much in the case of, you know, I don't need my twin now, I'm good without him, and I'm happy, and you know, I'm surrendered. But deep down, there is a pain there that you're not acknowledging, that you're burying. And, you know, if you're not doing that healing work, but you're walking around telling yourself you're in surrender and acceptance, chances are you're not. As I said, we've got the Ace of Wands reversed here, which is about that spiritual beginning. So these cards contradict one another. The Hangman is about surrendering to that new perspective, and the Ace of Wands, you know, grasping spirituality, but you feel like you've surrendered, but you've not actually grasped spirit. You've not connected with spirit. You've not connected with the essence of who you are, so that you can complete this healing. And, you know, the Ace comes before the Two, so the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands are both reversed here. You know, you've got to come into spiritual union with self before you can come into spiritual union with your twin. And the Queen of Wands shows us that you've not actually taken the steps towards that progression. This is the goal, but you've not quite got there yet. So, this is definitely blocking your twin journey, because it's up to you to light the path and lead the way for your divine masculine. So if you're not surrendering and accepting, he definitely will not. So the way to get towards union is to come into union with yourself and to surrender and accept that part of the journey, to accept it as necessary, to confront and face your fears about healing. Because it can be scary sometimes, healing. The thought of dredging up old wounds and having to confront them can be intimidating. And sometimes we really do a great job of convincing ourselves that we don't carry any emotional wounds, that we've really purged everything and that it's all gone. And I've said before, healing is an infinite process. It will never be all gone, but there will come a point when you are no longer crippled by pain and suffering. It doesn't have such a glaring impact on your life, because you understand how to heal as that suffering and pain comes to the surface, and it reveals itself so you can transmute it. But for some of you watching this, you're not doing that. You're kind of distracting yourself from the triggers. You're trying your very best to avoid digging deeply to complete that healing. In terms of what's blocking your actual, the whole connection. So this is blocking you, this is blocking progress with your twin, and this is blocking progress of both of you for the whole journey. We've got the Five of Pentacles here in reverse. And, this is really about, not having released feelings of abandonment or being left out in the cold, feelings of rejection, and you're not being entirely honest with yourself about that. We've got the Seven of Swords here, and there's in this Seven of Swords there's two swords on the ground, the two swords of truth. Two represents union. So you're not being entirely honest with yourself about this connection and about these feelings and about its higher purpose. And the High Priestess is also number 2. She comes up under this row with, the Ace of Swords, that card of truth, the Six of Cups, this remembering who you are, this Ten of Swords completing the healing, which, brings you into greater alignment with your inner power and your psychic power. And I feel like you're not acknowledging your psychic power, you're not acknowledging your ability. This comes back to the self-limiting beliefs. You're not allowing the karma, yeah? You're not understanding that karma brings you wisdom. By working through and resolving karma and learning our lessons from it, you gain wisdom. This is what the owl shows us. And of course, she holds the sword of truth as well. The truth sets you free. When you work through the karma, you achieve balance, truth, and wisdom. And, again, if you're feeling resentment for karmics, for your twin being off on his own journey, doing his own things to resolve his own karma, if you're frustrated, impatient and annoyed by that, then you're not accepting and surrendering to that karma. You're not seeing the truth of this journey, because that karma is about evolution, it's about soul growth. And we've got temperance here, this beautiful balance, this perfect alchemy. To temper means to moderate. Temperance means literally perfect balance, perfect harmony. And I feel very strongly, because of these yellow flowers here, that this is about triggers and not seeing them, not taking the time to kind of balance that knowing and transmute that emotion into something that's more harmonious and allows you to move forward. I'm going to get some more tarot cards as well, because I want to see what's blocking your divine masculine right now. We're going to keep all of those that came out. What's blocking your divine masculine? There's quite a few cards here, but we'll keep them all. They fell out. And I'm going to get one more. And the things in this deck are incredible in terms of what we've pulled already. So we have the Ace of Swords here, come up under the other Ace of Swords. He's not seeing the truth. So for some of you, your DM, he just hasn't processed that truth yet. He may have downloaded it, but he's certainly not integrated, acknowledged and accepted it as his truth. So that's a major block. Okay. He's also very indecisive and conflicted with this Two of Swords energy. He doesn't understand his own power with this Magician reverse. You know, he's feeling disempowered, in fact. And he's also, with this Five of Cups energy, you know, he's in pain. He's hurting. He's suffering. He's not processed and transmuted that regret, disappointment, and sadness that he's been holding. With the Page of Pentacles here in reverse, you know, he's not processing that part of the journey and, you know, becoming ready to move forward. The Page of Pentacles is very slow moving energy anyway. And the Page, unlike the Knight and the others, which holds it out, holds the pentacle out ahead of them, is the one that holds back. They hold it close to their chest because they're not ready to release it. But with this energy being reversed as well, I feel like that's an added layer of blockage. You know, this is about really not feeling emotionally mature enough to be able to accurately move forward. Not accurately, that's not the right word. Seamlessly. You know, there's a degree of hesitancy here. But we've also got the Lovers, which, you know, as a blockage for me is about choices. So there could definitely be some karmic interactions for some of you here where your partner's still wrapping up loose ends, your twin's wrapping up loose ends for that connection. And they're still, as we see with this Two of Swords, they're still in this very conflicted energy. But we have, underneath this Ace of Swords, got the Emperor, the Divine Masculine card. And I feel like whilst he's certainly beginning to step into that power, he's not acknowledged it with this Magician energy, but he's not understood the truth of that energy within himself and what it means in your connection. With the Seven of Cups in reverse, and this comes up under the Five of Cups as well, he's also overwhelmed by choice and options and, you know, not really seeing the way forward, which I think is a common thread throughout all of this. We see with this one, the Page of Pentacles reversed, he's just, you know, he's feeling stuck, stagnated, not able to move. This Two of Swords with this inner conflict, indecision. And in this deck, you know, she's got the blindfold on. This comes up under your Divine Feminine's Eight of Swords with the blindfold and this self-limiting beliefs. So I feel like for this row with the Emperor in the middle and the Lovers, and then, you know, this inability to make decisions, is that he's not fully processed the truth of this situation and the karmic lessons presented to him. So he's still disempowered. He's not in his power. You know, he's still working through that karma with those other karmic partners or partner. So, you know, you've got to be patient with him. And this goes back to what I was saying about the things that were blocking you specifically. And, you know, you've got to be patient. You've got to respect that part of the journey and that it serves you both. See what you need to do to move forward. Heal away addictions. Have you asked your angels or guides for help with this? The divine, or your parents. So, and indigo. So, you know, heal away your addictions is about attachment, codependence. In a tarot, this would have come up as the devil. And this is about letting go of things that don't serve us. And this can be anything from thoughts, feelings, physical addictions such as substance addiction. It could be addiction to people, addiction to help, addiction to watching these videos. You know, it says it's time to let go of behaviours that are blocking you from your heart's desire. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. So, you know, reach out your guides, reach out, if you resonate with archangels, then definitely reach out to Raphael and ask him what you need to do. Trust what comes back to you, write it down. You know, you don't have to listen to guides. As I talked about at the beginning of this video, you know, I don't necessarily have to hear Arthur now. I can just carry on talking and I know he's talking through me. Automatic writing is the same thing, but in the written word, when you just type and you allow whatever comes to mind to go, and you just keep going, So, you know, if you're not connected with your guide, you could join my mediumship class. But if you're not, then, you know, just ask that support and try and trust whatever knowing or answers come back to you. Have you asked your angels for help with this, or your guides? Your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. So remember, your guides, your guardian angels, all of the spiritual counsel that are surrounding you and assigned to you by you for your spiritual growth, even if you can't hear them, see them, or communicate with them, they are always listening. So you can still ask them for that support. You can reach out to them. And this card's come up under the healing cards, with that 10 of Swords energy and the 5 of Swords. The divine truth is that your parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you heal from any pain associated with your mum and dad. And, quite often we all carry deep-seated wounds relating to parents because they represent the first intimate relationships we had with other human beings. So these were very important, relationships, and any trauma within that connection with your parents is going to stick with you. So going back to what I was saying about your blockages and acknowledging your wounds and doing that healing work with this 10 of Swords energy, for many of you, you've got unresolved trauma relating to your parents. We've also got indigo here. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive natural born leader. Now, this isn't going to resonate for everybody, but it could be that you're an indigo or your twin is an indigo. And if you're not sure what indigos are, do go and Google that. But an indigo has a higher mission. I do believe that a lot of twins are by nature indigos, starseeds, crystal children, rainbow children. They've got a higher mission, a higher purpose. They've got powerful psychic ability. They're empathic, they're highly sensitive, and, they are naturally born to support and do light work. So this, certainly the light worker label will apply to all twins. If you're a twin, you have got light inside of you. You're a divine light being. But for some of you, you will be an indigo. You can always tell an indigo by their eyes. So if you've always thought you've got unusual eyes, or if people have always said to you, you've got really deep, mesmerizing eyes, quite a lot of indigos I've met actually realise that they have weird eyes. They kind of have a mild obsession with their own eyes, and they recognise that there is a depth there that isn't in other human beings. So, have a look at what an indigo is and see if that resonates for you, because you may find a great deal of comfort in researching and learning about, how to develop your psychic gifts and what that indigo journey means to you. I'm going to get some of these as well. What else is blocking you both that you need to know about? Mysterious Mother. So another, make it look like the night. Can't be caught. And service. And this has come, the service card has come up over the indigo. I'm going to get 2 more. Wow. We've got another sword of truth there. That one flew out, so I'm going to get 2 more. Dream travel and hiding. Okay. So, these are other blockages that you may find in your connection. Mysterious Mother. I'm feeling like this is about balance and finding your light, and really, Mother for me is always the Empress, but this is number 4. This is Emperor energy as well. And I feel like this specifically refers to the masculine energy you're holding and not quite embodying your full feminine power and energy. That light is inside of you, but it's not been released and integrated. We talked about the transference of masculine and feminine energy in a couple of my other videos. It's important. And for this to come up as a 4 with that Mother title, this is how it's resonating for me. You've got to tap into your Empress energy and believe it's there waiting for you, so that you can hold your own heart and develop that self-love. And this heart's purple, which is a 3rd eye chakra colour. This is about really integrating that knowing. So you may even have visions about that pertaining to motherhood, pertaining to this kind of integration or transference of masculine and female energies, this flow of energy. Very powerful card. We've also got Make It Look Like the Night, which again is this, this reminds me of the moon energy. And sometimes being able to do things in the dark when no one can see us is actually quite comforting. And you know, for me, this specifically refers to how you feel about your spirituality and other people's responses and reactions to it. You know, you can trust that you can be private about that. You can do it in the dark, in secret. You don't have to tell everyone who you are or everything about yourself. You're entitled to your privacy. With this card, can't be caught, there's, I feel like, okay, I'm getting a really specific download here. This isn't gonna, I'm just listening because it's coming in thick and fast. This isn't going to resonate for everybody, but for some of you, if you're having dreams about being chased, if you're having dreams or visions or feelings that you're being crawled upon, chased or grabbed, or, you know, somehow just terrorized, you need to be cleared. You need to be cleared, because in this card you see all of these hands reaching out. And this star is, you know, they're kind of draining it of energy. I don't know what the actual meaning for this is according to the book that comes with this oracle deck. This is a very intuitive read that's just come to me here. But Arthur is saying to me, you know, there's an energy leak somewhere from the solar plexus with, you know, negative beings, attachments or energies that are draining you from source. And this is particularly blocking your ability to download and integrate the divine messages that are coming to you, and also your ability to communicate those. So for some of you, you need to be cleared. Remember, I'm doing my live stream on Tuesday, June the 11th at 11 p.m. EST. You can come along and get a free clearing there. I won't be able to do one for everyone, but if that's not something you can afford right now, you know, I will clear as many of you as I can on that day. And of course, I'm training a ton of other students right now in my classes to be able to clear themselves. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, you could sign up for my mediumship class. The more of us doing clearings on one another and ourselves, the merrier. You know, this is what it's about. So we've also got service, and this has come up over indigo, and this is about going into service with your light work and really spreading the love. So this came up in my student group at the moment on Facebook, where I was saying to them, you know, don't believe that you're not experienced enough to be a teacher. There's always someone who's not learned quite as much as you. There's always someone that needs your guidance and your support, because you've already learned something that they need to learn, and you can help illuminate and guide them on their own path. So, you know, don't think that you need to learn lots and lots and lots and be highly qualified and have all kinds of skills. And, you know, wherever you're at in your journey, there will be someone that's not quite as far as you that you can light the way for. So this is really about contributing to this community. A really lovely way to do that is to look at the comments on these videos like mine with other twin flame readings, and you'll see a lot of viewers reaching out with questions, sharing their pain, sharing their journey. Guys, get involved, help one another, support one another, you know, contribute, be part of this community, share your light, reach out. The more we come into union as a collective and begin supporting one another, the more powerful we are. You know, there is power in numbers. That goes back to this meditation we're going to be doing together on the 16th of June at the full moon. You know, it's about collective unity, about supporting one another, sharing love, sharing healing. So you don't have to have a channel, you don't have to have customers to embrace acts of service. Just supporting one another is an act of service, you know, so get involved. And we've also got here dream travel and astral travel. And for this coming up as a blockage, you need to be really mindful that if you're not properly grounded, certainly when you sleep, you could be traveling without even realizing it, which is particularly draining. And we've also got hiding here, which is, you know, you don't need to hide. And this comes up under this make it look like the night card as well. You don't need to hide who you are. You know, you can be proud of who you are, but you don't need to reveal your true self to everybody. Not everybody will understand, but, you know, this community does understand. Don't hide yourself, reach out, get involved. But for this dream travel, again, there's 3 cards here that for me pertain to healing and clearing self. So if you haven't already received my grounding and protection meditation, drop me an email. I will send that to you, because you need to be really careful that you are grounded before you go to bed, because the dream travel, you know, being dragged out of your body by an entity while you sleep and taken places can be very draining, and this can happen if you're not properly grounded and protected. So, you know, as a blockage, this is what this card means for me. So I really hope that helps, guys. I really do. Please do comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. I will post on my community page about the twin raffle with instructions again, so you've still got access to that. Have a great day.